Welcome back to my channel. This is the final part of the Taekook fanfiction story. The Two Faces of the Jeons. Are you ready? Let's begin. It began with a whisper, and like all dangerous things it wore a smile. Juckk had been silent for days, too silent. The Jeon mansion felt lighter without his usual swaggering presence. But Jungkook, ever perceptive, felt a faint unease he couldn't explain. Taehyung noticed it too, the way Jungkook would sometimes glance toward his phone mid-shift, as though waiting for something that never came. Unknown to them, Juckk wasn't idle. He was watching and plotting. At the Jeon company, Juckk walked through the corridors with easy charm, stopping by the HR office with a grin. "Ah, could you send me the schedule of our secretarial staff for next week?" he asked smoothly. "I just want to make sure no one's being overworked." His tone was casual, but his mind already churned with plans. When he saw Taehyung's name listed under late administrative filing, his smirk widened. "Perfect," he murmured. That Friday night, Juckk stayed late in the office, deliberately. He waited until most of the employees had gone home before calling Taehyung. "Taehyung, are you still here?" he asked, his voice soft, almost too kind. "I need your help with a report before the client meeting tomorrow. Just 10 minutes, I promise." Taehyung, though hesitant, agreed. "Of course, sir. I'll come right away." When Taehyung entered the executive office, the lights were low, only a dim glow from the city outside. Papers were neatly stacked, a coffee cup placed beside a half-empty glass of whiskey. "Sorry," Juckk said, motioning toward the chair. "I know it's late. You're the only one I trust to organize things right." Taehyung smiled politely, taking a seat. "It's fine. I don't mind helping." As Taehyung began reviewing documents, Juckk stepped closer, too close. His cologne filled the air, his presence heavy. "You've changed," Juckk said suddenly, voice low. "You used to be nervous around me. Now you barely look up." Taehyung froze. "I'm just focused on work." "Focused?" Juckk echoed, smirking. "Or in love?" Taehyung's head snapped up. "Excuse me?" Juckk leaned in, eyes glinting. "You think I don't see it? My brother's little fairy tale? You think I don't know you chose him over me?" Taehyung stood abruptly. "I didn't choose anyone over you. You never gave me a choice. What you did before." "What I did," Juckk cut in sharply, "was show you attention. What he's doing is pretending he's different." "Jungkook isn't pretending," Taehyung said firmly. "He loves me." Something in Juck's expression flickered. Envy, pain, disbelief. Then it hardened into something crueler. "Then let's see how much he trusts that love." Before Taehyung could react, Juckk grabbed his wrist, not harshly, but enough to stop him from leaving. At that exact moment, the door burst open. "Taehyung." Jungkook's voice. He stood frozen in the doorway, still wearing his white coat, eyes taking in the scene. Juckk close to Taehyung, his hand gripping Taehyung's wrist, their faces inches apart. Taehyung's eyes widened in horror. "Jungkook, it's not what you think." But Juckk, with perfect precision, let go and stepped back, feigning surprise. "Brother," he said calmly, "I didn't expect you. We were just finishing some reports." Jungkook's voice was low, trembling. I saw what I saw. Then you saw wrong. Taehyung pleaded. He called me here, But Juckk interrupted smoothly. He's been under a lot of stress lately. Maybe he's misinterpreting things. Flashback. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime. Dr. John Jungkook stepped out, his steps brisk but calm, his lab coat still faintly smelling of antiseptic and lavender soap, Taehyung's favorite scent that always lingered on him after their morning hugs. He was supposed to drop off some documents for his father, but as he approached his brother's office, the sight through the half-open door made him pause. Juckk was standing too close to Taehyung, their hands brushing on the desk. The air inside was heavy. Wrong. Taehyung looked startled, uneasy. Juckk was smiling that signature smile, the one Jungkook had always known meant trouble. You're tense, Juck's voice purred. You don't have to be shy. You know I'd never hurt you. Please, Mr. Jeon, Taehyung said softly, pulling his hand back. You're too close. The moment was perfectly staged. From the right angle to anyone walking in, it looked intimate. Too intimate. Jungkook finally pushed the door open. The two brothers locked eyes. Juck smirked confident, Taehyung's breath caught in his throat, the blood draining from his face. Silence. Then Jungkook stepped forward, his tone low but calm. Taehyung, come here. Taehyung hesitated, heart pounding. He expected anger, disappointment, maybe the end of everything. But Jungkook's voice wasn't cold, it was steady, like an anchor in a storm. Taehyung slowly walked toward him. Jungkook's hand reached out, fingers brushing Taehyung's sleeve, then slid down to take his hand gently, holding it in full view of Juck. He looked down at Taehyung, then back up at his brother. You should stop underestimating me, Juck. Juck's smirk faltered. What are you talking about? I know exactly what this is, Jungkook interrupted, voice firm. You wanted me to doubt him. You wanted to break what you could never build. Taehyung's eyes welled with tears, his voice trembling. Jungkook, I swear I didn't. Jungkook squeezed his hand gently. You don't have to explain a thing, love. I saw enough. Then, to Juck's absolute disbelief, Jungkook leaned down and kissed Taehyung's forehead. Slowly. Tenderly. He doesn't need to defend himself, Jungkook said softly. Because I trust him. The words landed like thunder. Juck's face twisted, anger crawling beneath his perfect composure. You're a fool, he hissed. He's playing you. No, Jungkook replied, his tone sharp as glass. You're the one playing games. And I'm done letting you use Taehyung for them. He turned slightly toward Taehyung, brushing a tear from his cheek. Go home for tonight, Tae. You don't deserve to be in this place a minute longer today. Taehyung nodded shakily, whispering, Thank you, before hurrying out, still trembling but safe under Jungkook's protective gaze. That night at the Jeon mansion, the tension was thick enough to touch. Jung-hyun Jeon, their father, sat in the grand living room with Mrs. Jeon, both aware something had happened. Jungkook entered first, calm but visibly holding back emotion. Moments later, Juck stormed in behind him, jaw tight. You humiliated me in front of the staff, Juck started. You humiliated yourself, Jungkook shot back. And you hurt someone innocent to do it. Their father's voice cut in. What's going on here? Jungkook turned to him. Ask Juck why his employee came to my hospital last week bruised and crying. Ask him why he staged another trap today. The air shifted instantly. Mrs. Jeon's hand covered her mouth. Not again, she whispered. Juck clenched his fists. You're twisting everything. You think you know him? He's just another one of your charity projects. He's the man I love, Jungkook said, voice rising but steady. And if you say one more word against him, I swear I won't keep pretending we're the same blood. The room fell silent. Mrs. Jeon's eyes filled with tears. Their father looked between them, disappointment heavy in his tone. Juck, I told you once, this arrogance of yours will destroy everything. I don't care. Juck snapped. He always gets to be the good one, the favorite, the perfect son. Because he is good, their father cut in firmly. And you could have been too if you hadn't let jealousy rot you from the inside. Juck glared, chest heaving. Jungkook took a step forward, his voice soft now, almost pleading. You can hate me all you want, Hyung. But leave Taehyung out of it. He's done nothing to you except be kind, something you clearly forgot how to be. Juck didn't respond. He just turned sharply, storming out into the night. Jungkook stood still for a long moment, his jaw clenched, then slowly sank onto the couch. His mother placed a hand on his shoulder. You did right, she whispered. He nodded faintly, his eyes softening as he thought of Taehyung, probably curled on his couch right now, still shaken, still scared. He pulled out his phone, typing quickly. You're safe now, love. I promise no one will ever hurt you again. I'll pick you up tomorrow for breakfast, my favorite doctor and his favorite heart. Taehyung's reply came almost instantly, a small trembling heart emoji followed by. You always find a way to make me feel safe again. Jungkook smiled faintly, whispering into the quiet night. Always. The morning after the storm, the Jeon mansion was uncharacteristically quiet. Sunlight streamed through the tall glass windows, falling over the family dining table where Mrs. Jeon was arranging breakfast trays in silence. Everyone was still carrying the weight of last night's confrontation. The shouting, the hurt, and Jungkook's unwavering defense of Taehyung. Hours later, the doors opened with a hesitant creak. Juck stood there. For the first time in years, he looked nothing like the self-assured heir everyone knew. His perfect hair was messy, his eyes dull and swollen from sleeplessness. The swagger was gone. When his father looked up from his newspaper, Juck bowed deeply. Appa, he said quietly. Amma, I need to speak. Mrs. Jeon put down the teapot. The chairman's eyes narrowed. What is it, Juck? He took a shaky breath. I was wrong. The words seemed foreign coming from him, but they poured out in a trembling rush. I was jealous. I thought if I could ruin Jungkook's happiness, I could feel better about myself. But all I did was destroy my own peace. I hurt Taehyung, someone who never once disrespected me. I hurt my own brother. He swallowed hard, looking at the floor. And I almost destroyed our family's name. Mrs. Jeon's eyes softened. Do you mean that, son? Yes, Amma, Juck whispered. I don't expect forgiveness overnight. I want to start over. I'll take responsibility for everything I've done. I'll apologize to Taehyung in person and to Jungkook too. Chairman Jeon leaned back in his chair, studying him with the calm of a man who had seen many storms. You were nearly removed from your position last night. If you had left this house still arrogant, I would have stripped you of your title as CEO in training. But humility, he paused, is a step in the right direction. Juck bowed again. I'll earn back the trust one lost. Just then Jungkook entered the dining hall, still in his hospital uniform. The air grew taut. The two brothers stared at each other in silence for a long time. Finally Juck walked forward. Jungkook, he said softly, I don't expect you to forgive me. But I'm sorry. For everything. For Taehyung, for the lies, for the way I treated you. I don't deserve your kindness, but I truly mean it. Jungkook stood still for a moment, eyes unreadable. Then he gave a faint nod. If you're truly sorry, Jungkook said, then change, Juck. Be the man our parents can be proud of. That's all I ask. The tension melted, replaced with a fragile but genuine peace. Mrs. Jeon wiped her tears quietly, whispering, Finally, my sons are speaking again. Chairman Jeon exhaled deeply and set his cup down with a decisive thud. Then it's time to bring some light back into this house. His gaze turned to Jungkook. You defended Taehyung with honor, and your mother and I have decided it's time we make this official. Jungkook blinked. Official? The chairman's lips curved into a proud smile. Marriage. You and Taehyung. I've already arranged for us to meet his parents this week. You've both waited long enough. Mrs. Jeon clapped her hands together softly, delighted. Oh, Jungkook. It's going to be a royal celebration. The hospital's golden doctor marrying the company's most respected secretary. It's perfect. Even Juck gave a small, sincere smile. He deserves it, he admitted. They both do. 3 days later, the Jeon family arrived at the Kim residence, a traditional home surrounded by cherry blossoms. Taehyung's parents, humble and kind-hearted, welcomed them warmly. Chairman Jeon spoke with deep respect. Your son has brought not only happiness to my family but honor as well. We'd like to ask for his hand in marriage to our son, Jungkook. Taehyung's mother covered her mouth, emotional. We'd be honored, Chairman Jeon. Our Taehyung has always spoken about Jungkook with so much love. We couldn't dream of a better partner for him. Jungkook reached for Taehyung's hand gently, squeezing it under the table. Taehyung looked at him, eyes shimmering, cheeks warm. Are you really sure? Taehyung whispered. I've never been more sure of anything in my life, Jungkook replied, smiling softly. Then, yes, Taehyung said, voice trembling with joy. I'd love to marry you. Within days, preparations for the grand wedding began. Invitations gilded in gold were sent out to family, friends, and dignitaries. The Jeon estate buzzed with designers, florists, and reporters. Chairman Jeon personally oversaw every detail, ensuring the celebration reflected not only wealth but warmth. It must show who you are, he told Jungkook and Taehyung. Love that's earned, not bought. Taehyung's simple elegance charmed everyone. He refused lavish jewels, asking instead for a modest ceremony followed by a charity dinner to fund Jungkook's future children's hospital. The decision made the chairman beam with pride. Now I understand why my son fought for you, he said. Even Juck helped quietly, staying behind the scenes, approving arrangements, keeping his distance but trying to make amends. Each time Jungkook caught his gaze across the hall, there was no resentment, just quiet acknowledgement. On the evening before the ceremony, Jungkook stood alone on the balcony overlooking Seoul, city lights twinkling below. Taehyung joined him silently, wrapping his arms around Jungkook's waist from behind. "Tomorrow," Taehyung whispered, "I'll be yours forever." Jungkook turned, resting his forehead against Taehyung's. "You've already been mine, Tae. Tomorrow the world will just finally know it." Downstairs, Chairman Jeon watched from the window, smiling softly before turning to his wife. "It took losing nearly everything for our sons to find what matters most." Mrs. Jeon nodded, eyes glistening. "Love changed this family, dear. Jungkook's love. And maybe, even Juck's heart will find peace someday." The suite door clicked shut behind them, and Taehyung's breath caught as Jungkook pressed him gently against it. The soft lighting of their honeymoon suite cast golden shadows across Jungkook's face as he gazed down at his husband with eyes full of adoration and desire. "Finally alone," Jungkook murmured, his voice dropping to that low tone that always made Taehyung's knees weak. His hand came up to cup Taehyung's face, thumb tracing along his cheekbone with reverent gentleness. Taehyung's hands found their way to Jungkook's chest, fingers curling into the fabric of his shirt. "I've been waiting all day to have you to myself," he whispered, looking up through his lashes. Jungkook's responding smile was equal parts tender and heated. He leaned in slowly, giving Taehyung time to close the distance between them. Their lips met in a kiss that started soft but quickly deepened, months of planning and anticipation melting into this perfect moment. "You're so beautiful." Jungkook breathed against Taehyung's lips, his hands sliding down to his waist, pulling him closer. "My husband." The word sent a thrill through Taehyung. "Say it again," he requested breathlessly. "My husband," Jungkook repeated, punctuating each word with kisses along Taehyung's jaw. "Mine." Taehyung's head fell back against the door, giving Jungkook better access to his neck. "Yours," he agreed, his voice trembling with emotion. His fingers worked at the buttons of Jungkook's shirt, needing to be closer to him. Jungkook's hands were equally busy, slowly sliding Taehyung's jacket off his shoulders, letting it fall to the floor without care. His lips trailed gentle kisses from Taehyung's ear down to his collarbone, making him shiver. "Kook," Taehyung gasped, tugging at his husband's hair. "I love you so much." With a low chuckle full of affection, Jungkook scooped Taehyung up effortlessly, making him wrap his legs around his waist. Taehyung couldn't help the delighted laugh that escaped him, joy and love bubbling up inside his chest. Jungkook carried him to the large bed draped in rose petals, courtesy of the resort's honeymoon package, and laid him down with surprising gentleness given the intensity in his eyes. He hovered over Taehyung, taking a moment just to look at him, memorizing this perfect moment. "I love you," Jungkook said, his voice thick with emotion. "So much. I can't believe you're really mine." Taehyung reached up, cupping Jungkook's face in both hands. "I've always been yours. From the moment we met." He pulled him down for another deep, passionate kiss that conveyed everything words couldn't express. They lost themselves in each other, the world outside their suite ceasing to exist. Soft murmurs of love and devotion filled the space between kisses. Jungkook's hands were tender as they explored, mapping out every detail of the man he loved with reverent touches. "You make me so happy," Taehyung whispered against Jungkook's lips, his eyes shining with unshed tears of joy. "I never knew I could feel this complete." Jungkook pressed their foreheads together, his thumb wiping away a tear that had escaped down Taehyung's cheek. "You're my everything, Tae. My best friend. My love, my home." The kisses grew deeper, more heated, their hearts racing in sync. Time seemed to slow down and speed up all at once as they held each other close, whispering promises and declarations of forever. The next morning, warm sunlight filtered through the sheer curtains, painting the room in soft golden hues. Taehyung stirred slowly, a content smile spreading across his face before he even opened his eyes. He was wrapped in Jungkook's strong arms, his husband's chest pressed against his back, their legs tangled together beneath the silk sheets. "Good morning, Mr. Jeon," Jungkook's voice rumbled against his ear, still rough with sleep. Taehyung turned in his arms, meeting those familiar doe eyes that now looked at him with even more love than before, if that was possible. "Good morning, Mr. Jeon," he replied with a shy smile, feeling his cheeks warm. Jungkook's hand came up to brush Taehyung's messy hair back from his face. "How did you sleep?" "Like I was floating on a cloud," Taehyung admitted, stretching languidly. "Best sleep of my life." "Same here." Jungkook pressed a soft kiss to his forehead, then his nose, then finally his lips. "I could get used to waking up like this." "You better," Taehyung teased, poking him in the chest. "You're stuck with me for life now." "Stuck with you?" Jungkook pretended to be offended. "I'm blessed with you. There's a difference." Taehyung's heart melted all over again. Jungkook still knew exactly what to say to make him feel like the most cherished person in the world. They lay there for a while, just talking and laughing, sharing lazy kisses and tracing patterns on each other's skin. The breakfast the resort had promised to deliver was completely forgotten as they basked in their newlywed bliss. "So," Jungkook said eventually, a mischievous glint in his eye, "what do you want to do today? Beach? Spa? Explore the island?" Taehyung pretended to think about it, then pulled Jungkook closer. "How about we stay right here for a few more hours? We have 2 whole weeks. No rush." Jungkook's answering grin was brilliant. "I love the way you think." He rolled them over so Taehyung was sprawled across his chest, both of them laughing at the playful maneuver. As they settled into comfortable silence, Taehyung felt overwhelmingly grateful. Every laugh, every challenge overcome together, every late-night conversation and early morning coffee run. "Hey, Kook. Oh, thank you for choosing me." Jungkook's arms tightened around him. "Tae, you've got it backwards. Thank you for choosing me. I'm the lucky one." "We're both lucky," Taehyung decided, tilting his head up for another kiss. "Yeah," Jungkook agreed softly, his eyes crinkling with happiness. "We really are." Outside, waves crashed against the shore and seabirds called to each other, but inside their little sanctuary, time seemed to stand still. They had a lifetime ahead of them, but right now, this moment was everything. And it was perfect. Taehyung said, "Now it is our time to build a family. I want to carry your children so bad, baby." Jungkook smiled. "Then let's go to bed right now, Angel." The end. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.